Good afternoon and welcome to the FCJ Christian Life Center's Showcase and Celebration, recognizing the FCJ Sisters Bicentennial. My name is Denise Deneve, and I am the director of the FCJ Christian Life Center. I invite you today to come and see one of the corporate ministries of the FCJ Society, that being the FCJ Christian Life Center, also known as the FCJ Retreat and Conference Center. What an appropriate day for us to hold this virtual event as Pope Francis releases his annual message of World Communication Day. Come and see, communicating by encountering people where and as they are. Pope Francis writes, "The invitation to come and see, which was part of those first moving encounters of Jesus with the disciples, is also the method for all authentic human communication. To tell the truth of life that becomes history, it is necessary to move beyond the complacent attitude that we already know. Instead, we need to go and see them for ourselves, to spend time with people, to listen to their stories, to confront reality, which always in some way surprises us. So, with this virtual celebration, we wish to showcase the center so you can see for yourself, spend time with us, and listen to our stories. Perhaps you will be surprised."
Good afternoon. My name is Manny Farina.
And my name is Elizabeth McDonald. Together, Manny and I will be ushering you through the next hour and a half of our virtual program. We hope that you enjoy and are inspired by what we're going to share.
Thank you for participating in our showcase and celebration. As Denise stated, this is an opportunity for all of you to come and see the spirit of the FCJ Sisters and their corporate ministry here at the FCJ Center. We have an exciting lineup of events.
Widening the Circle, Showcase and Celebration. The basis for the words widening the circle in this context comes from the 2019 General Chapter of the FCJ Sisters. The chapter is always a key moment for each FCJ sister as they take time to look at their individual lives and their life as a group across the world, so that they may be led by the Holy Spirit into the future. This future involves living out the callings discerned by the chapter in their lives and their corporate ministries, one of which is the FCJ Retreat and Conference Center. As pilgrim companions for 200 years, the FCJ Society knows that the risen Jesus, source of our hope, joy, and energy, is present and active in us and all around us. The FCJ Center also knows this. So, filled with energy and enthusiasm, we offer healing, listening, a loving welcome, and the hope of reconciliation. We are called to be co-workers with Jesus the Christ, who is transforming the whole of creation. It is our hope that we can widen the circle for you at the FCJ Center. We welcome the Catholic community and all faith communities. Come and see is our invitation to you.
We open our celebration and showcase today by acknowledging the traditional lands of the First Nations people of Treaty 7 and the Métis Nations of Alberta. We are honored to present the Indigenous team from the Calgary Catholic School Board, who will be sharing a prayer that was composed by the team and the district chaplain, to celebrate the diversity of our shared lands and acknowledge the historic and continuing role of the FCJ Sisters and Center in Calgary and Southern Alberta.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. As we gather, we recognize and honor our shared history and work. In particular, we recognize this land on which the FCJ Christian Life Center is situated, the city of Calgary. Mohkints is Treaty 7 land, home of the Siksikaitsitapi, the Siksika, Kena, Pikani, and Amskapi Pikani. All Treaty 7 signatories, including the Tsuut'ina people, as well as the Iyerhey Nakota nations, Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Wesley nations. We also acknowledge that this land is home of the Métis Nation, Region 3. Together, we call this place home.
In prayer and celebration, we acknowledge that this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us be glad and rejoice. Come and see the one who dwelt among us, the Lamb of God. Take leave of distractions, worries, fears, and self-made plans, and set aside this time and place to focus on Christ. Draw near to him who is the same yesterday and today and forever, and who alone can satisfy our deepest thirst and longing. Gaze upon his presence in the Eucharist and see in him the Father's love and mercy. Surrender past failings and regrets and know that he is tender-hearted and compassionate. Know that he continues to accompany and walk with us wherever we may go, into times of plenty and poverty, health and sickness, gain and loss, celebration and mourning. Remain with Jesus and invite him through the working of the Holy Spirit to renew our hearts and transform our minds. Creator God, widen our circle, that the one we encounter today and tomorrow may enliven us to live as more than mere spectators in a world of constant change.
Come and see the goodness of God made evident in the place we are staying. Witness that the earth is the Lord's and that it is in it, the world, those who live in it. Open us up to the wonders all around us. Folded mountains, painted skies, hanging stars, and coral seas. Fill our mouths with rejoicing at the life bursting forth as spring awakens, the rebirth of forests, flowers, rains, cut grass. Awaken our ears to the sound of creation, a bird singing, the wind in the trees, the splash of rain and the joy of children playing. Through all the many sights and sounds of spring, enliven our hearts with hope and remind us that we make all things new.
Creator God, widen our circle and deepen our reverence for the earth and all that you have made.
Come and see the joy and peace God longs to give all those who love him. Fill us with gladness for the progression of the seasons as the warmth of summer transforms the land, causing plants and animals to grow, giving seed to the sower, bread to the eater, and medicines to the peoples. Awaken us to your deep and abiding love for each of us as your own people, as individuals fearfully and wonderfully created in your image, whose every hair is counted and every tear stored in a bottle. Give us eyes to see the other as family and kin, and give us readiness to make room for them in our lives. Make us aware of the innate beauty and goodness of people, and lead us to care for them with the heart of the Samaritan and the humility of the Beatitudes. Help us to forgive those who have wronged us, and root out any indifference that has taken hold of our heart.
Creator God, widen our circle that we, along with all nations, may be filled with rejoicing and shout to God with loud songs of joy. Come and see the generosity of God which has guided our work. Come and see the goodness of God. As the colors of the leaves change, we admire their beauty. God brings diversity among the leaves as God brings diversity among the people. May we embrace one another as brothers and sisters. May we share our gifts and talents with one another. Creator God, widen our circle.
Come and see the goodness of God. Come and see the goodness of the Creator. Let the wisdom of the elders fall upon open ears, open eyes, open mind, and an open heart. May we reflect upon the knowledge that they have bestowed on us. May we honor the time we have with the elders. Creator God, widen our circle.
In the name
of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you for that inspiring gift of prayer. Most of our presentations today were taped in advance so that they could be shared with you. We hope that this prayer helps our guests from Calgary, other parts of Canada, and the rest of the world to understand the important relationship that we share with our Creator, the land, and the peoples of Southern Alberta.
Our afternoon will give us all an opportunity to learn more about the FCJ Christian Life Center and the important work and services that are offered here. Like the rest of the world, the center has been negatively impacted by the ongoing pandemic. The needs of the people we serve and the community of Calgary have been underscored by the lockdown and pandemic. Unfortunately, funding has become a key issue in our ability to provide subsidies and support to our clients. This celebration is also an appeal to our viewers to help the FCJ Center continue its work. Our fundraising goal is $25,000. We hope you will help us reach it.
If you can help, we ask you to phone in your donation and make a pledge. The phone number is 403-228-4215. The switchboard will direct your call to one of our volunteers, and they will be able to assist you with your donation. Every $20 donation will earn you a chance to win one of the prizes that have been donated for this event. A $100 donation will qualify you for 5 chances to win great prizes. Please review our website for the prizes that are available. The winners will be notified before May 31st, and winning names will be posted on our website.
Pledge lines will be open from 3 to 5 today, and volunteers are standing by to help you make your donation. The FCJ Center will be accepting pledges and donations for this fundraiser until May 23rd using our regular donation channels.
For some added fun, we will be stopping our presentations periodically to have a quiz from Sister Madeleine's safe virtual classroom. If you know the answer, be the first caller into the telephone number that is posted with the quiz, and you will win one of the FCJ Center's famous and prized apple pies. Stay tuned and let's have some fun.
One thing that makes the FCJ Center special is that it is a corporate ministry of the Sisters, Faithful Companions of Jesus, an international congregation of Roman Catholic sisters. FCJ Sisters minister in a variety of ways and in a variety of places. This next section presents a little glimpse of some of the FCJ sisters and their ministries around the world.
Sister Denise Mulcahy, FCJ, works part-time in Albert Park as office administrator.
Trafficking can take various forms. One form would be sometimes people come to a country, and it could be to Australia as well, thinking that they will take on one form of work. And when they come here, they may find themselves actually trafficked into the labour force, and that would be simply working long hours and not being given the correct fees, the correct wages for that. It could be being forced into a marriage, either here or being taken to a country of your parents' origin and forced into a marriage there. It could be in the fruit picking industry. It could be in mining. And I'm afraid to have to say it's also in organ trafficking, the trafficking of human organs.
Her role is in a voluntary capacity and involves attending to correspondence, donations, and facilitating the efficient running of the office.
My name's Margaret Olson and I'm a faithful companion of Jesus, and I walk with people who have the AIDS virus.
Welcome to the FCJ Refugee Center.
If you are a refugee, if you are a rejected refugee, the door is open.
If you are a person without status, who are at risk of the authorities due to your immigration status, count on us.
If you are a migrant worker, isolated by the system, the door is open.
If you believe in building a humanity without borders, count on us.
Welcome to see how the FCJ Refugee Center, our staff, our volunteers, our neighbors are doing an amazing job during this crisis, supporting migrants and people without status from everywhere in the city of Toronto.
Welcome to our Thursday prayer this evening. We give thanks for this opportunity of praying together. We offer this prayer to all the families who are mourning at this time because of the loss of their loved ones. Bless and console each of them, Lord.
St. Philomena's School is a community animated by its faith, driven by its mission to be a place where all learners can succeed, where they can find their gifts and their talents and then use them to serve others. St. Philomena's School is a community on 27 acres of land right on the beautiful Narragansett Bay. We offer our children an opportunity to come to school on a campus and to grow up in a community where they're continually challenged to be their best, but also to not leave behind the best parts of their childhood. They're able to play, they're able to run, they're able to learn in dynamic and innovative ways, and they're also challenged in some of those time-tested traditional ways. Our school was founded by an order of sisters who were dedicated to helping children grow up with the tools to be successful. And it has expanded over 60 years to be a campus where over 425 children come every day to be served by an incredibly passionate and dedicated team of teachers.
I've just become the chaplain here. I'm working as one of a team of three. There's 3 FCJ sisters. We've just taken over, at the request of the diocese, taken over the chaplaincy for both Goldsmiths University and London South Bank. We're faithful companions of Jesus, and the spirit of our congregation, or the gift of the congregation to the church, would be really to do with companionship. We take our inspiration from the women who were faithful to Jesus, who accompanied Jesus, walked with him in his ministry, and remained faithful with him to the cross.
Time for some fun. Let's welcome Sister Madeline. She has her first quiz question to share with us.
Where is the FCJ Christian Life Center located? A. Toronto. B. Calgary. C. Manila. D. Edmonton. For the win, be the first caller to contact my assistant. She will be taking your name and contact information so that we can make arrangements for you to receive your prize. Call now.
The first caller in will win an apple pie that has been made fresh right here in our own kitchen. Call now. All quiz winners will be posted on our website by 5 o'clock today.
I'm sure many of you have had a lasting relationship with the FCJ Center, and even though the building has been here a long time, there have been changes to the grounds, the infrastructure, and the offerings here. We often refer to the FCJ Center as an oasis in the heart of Calgary. Oasis, a place of refreshment in the midst of a desert. It's a good metaphor for the FCJ Center. The FCJ sisters have lived here since 1885. The present-day convent is in the northeast corner of the building, a real legacy site. It was built in 1892 to 1894 to provide more space for St. Mary's School, and it is the oldest continuously inhabited building in Calgary. As the school grew, even more space was needed, and in 1922, the chapel wing and classroom spaces, piano practice rooms, an auditorium, and a library, as well as more dormitory spaces were built. The last addition was the reception area, added in 2000.
We have for your viewing pleasure a short video that will give you a virtual tour of our center, the gardens and the grounds. It's a nice place, great spaces, beautiful atmosphere. See what you think.
For over 37 years, people from southern Alberta and beyond, from all walks of life, have found a peaceful quiet here, where God can be found in a changing world. Situated on the banks of the Elbow River, only 10 blocks from downtown Calgary, the FCJ Christian Life Center is an oasis in the heart of the city, a corporate ministry of the Society of the Sisters, Faithful Companions of Jesus, a not-for-profit organization. The FCJ Center is a place where the noise and distraction of daily life fade away. Within a warm, welcoming, and peaceful atmosphere, we offer life-giving, creative, and challenging opportunities. We offer hospitality to people of all faiths and none, encouraging interfaith relationships. We provide counseling and a place of welcome for all who seek compassionate care and tranquility. We cultivate opportunities for people to deepen their spirituality with reflection, prayer, ritual, spiritual accompanying, education, and culture. We also offer retreats and seminars, including training for future spiritual directors. We make our conference space available for groups who fall within our mandate. Members of our resource team reach out in the community to provide nourishment to others for support on life's journey. We engage with the issues of our time, stand in solidarity with the oppressed, and seek to build a more inclusive community. At the FCJ Center, we endeavor to create an eco-friendly environment where right relationship with self, others, the cosmos, and God is nurtured, facilitating virtual pilgrimages to become aware of our interconnectedness. We invite you to visit and experience our hospitality, which is the hallmark of the FCJ Retreat and Conference Center. Peace, tranquility, and inner calm await you. The FCJ Christian Life Center. We are a center of hospitality and hope, where God can be experienced in a changing world.
Thank you for that lovely tour of the center. It certainly is a place that everyone needs to come and see.
Just a reminder, pledge lines are now open. Please call our volunteers. They're standing by to assist you with your donations. And remember that pledges and donations for FCJ program support can be made until May 23rd. Your gift will go toward achieving our $25,000 fundraising target.
The first entertainment selection of the afternoon is from Canmore, Alberta, at Our Lady of the Snows Catholic Academy. This school is a part of Christ the Redeemer Catholic Schools. They have prepared a short selection of music for our audience this afternoon. Please welcome Miss Janelle Taves and the students from Our Lady of the Snows Catholic Academy.
That was fantastic. Thank you, Ms. Taves, the musicians from Our Lady of the Snows Catholic Academy, and Axis 52 for their videography. We would also like to acknowledge Lindsay Fagan, Director of Catholic Education, for making this presentation a reality.
I think it's time to invite Sister Madeleine back with her second quiz question. Take it away, Sister.
The faithful companions of Jesus came to Calgary and worked as A. farmhands, B. nurses, C. librarians, D. teachers. For the win, be the first caller to contact my assistant. She will be taking your name and contact information so that we can make arrangements for you to receive your prize. Call now.
Thank you, Sister. Remember, there's a delicious apple pie at stake here. Be the first caller with the right answer to win this delectable prize.
At the FCJ Center, part of our focus is helping people deepen their relationship with God through making a retreat. A retreat is a time of stepping back from engagement in our everyday life and stepping into a time and place of tranquility, peace, and serenity.
People enter into a retreat to reconnect with their innermost being in many ways. It's about integrating faith with life. Some of the more popular activities are meditation, scripture reading, prayer, doing artwork, walking the labyrinth, or listening to music. Meeting with a personal retreat director can also be a powerful way to process the hurt and stress that accumulate over time.
FCJ Center retreats last from a few hours to a few days or even weeks. Some are done with a group and others are private. Some have a predetermined theme and others follow the spiritual path of the retreatant. All of them offer opportunities for inner work. Listen to what some have said about their retreat at the FCJ Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Joanne Snyder, and I've been coming to the FCJ Christian Life Center since the late 80s. And many people might wonder, well, why did you go there? I'm a seeker, and I have come to the FCJ Center and have had some wonderful spiritual directors as well as short retreats, maybe an evening, an afternoon, a day. And the reason I like them is I find them very meaty and concise. But I think one of the greatest benefits I've had from the FCJ Center is learning more about Bible and using your Bible in a constructive way in your prayer life.
Good afternoon. My name is Lori. I attended Painting with Prayer weekend retreat on Zoom last spring. I just love finding different ways to hear what God is saying and to express my heart to God, because when you see how other people are experiencing God, listening and talking to God, then you see God in a different way, and it just expands your view of who God is and just enriches my life. I love the idea of praying still, and also the opportunity to meet with other people who like to pray, and another way to connect with God and others and the sisters. And the center is a beautiful place to just spend an evening, even if there's nothing else going on. And I kept coming back because I made connections with other people.
Hi there, my name is Shannon Griffin, and I am here to talk about weekend retreats at the FCJ Center. And I think for the most part, I went in it into them with a really open mind about just wanting to relax, to get some personal time, to reflect and to have time to pray and to just to be alone with my own thoughts. So I would say that those are really beneficial things for me personally, and to really just have a very open mind about what could possibly happen and just be open to all those possibilities. It was a true blessing. So, the FCJ Center is lovely because not just the indoor spaces and the outdoor spaces are really beautiful. And I went on the labyrinth walk. I spent time by the river, and I really felt the presence of God both inside and outside of that building.
But we've really appreciated all the programming that the FCJ Center provides, especially for families. For us, it's really an experience of the children getting to experience church beyond Mass. We've been attending retreats for families here, especially the Advent retreat for families, and they also offer opportunities for different levels of generations to come together and explore our faith together and provide that opportunity which we might not otherwise have those conversations as a family. So
our lives are so busy. My wife and I both work full-time. We have 3 young children at 3 different ages and stages of their lives. Life is busy. And so I think what makes the FCJ Center so needed and wonderful is it gives us a space to come as a family and spend quality time together, and not just bonding as a family, but also bonding in our faith.
And throughout all the events that we've done over the years, the retreats, each year, they consistently find new ways to incorporate faith into art, to teach new ways of teaching faith to our kids, to children, and they continue to evolve and educate people. And I think that's one of the great things with the FCJ Center is their ability to continue to move forward and continue to find new ways to teach us these amazing things and continuing to find new ways to reach out to people and spread the message of our faith.
Hello, my name is Xavier. The thing that I really love about the FCJ Center is retreats. Like spending time with family, having snacks to make you feel better. I like that it bonds us together with nature and outside and our life that we don't even know about. We're all so busy. We just need a break and a chill place to start fresh, clear, and new.
I like about the FCJ Center that it's nice and pretty. Mm-hmm. And everyone here has done them hard work. I think it's a really good talent of showing peace and kindness and love. And that's what I like about the FCJ Center.
I mean, oftentimes it's been said that children are the church of the future, but the FCJ Center, the children are the church of today. So activities are designed to be at the level of the children, and that's really something that resonates strongly with them.
So my name is Mira Farahat. I took the 19th annotations in 2019 at the FCJ Center. Yeah, so the nice thing about the spiritual exercises is that it's very practical. It's not done only for people with religious vocations. It's done for ordinary people, just like all of us. So that's one of the nice things about it. One of the other things is discernment, so discerning the spirits. So just knowing what are the spirits that are moving you throughout the day, and being able to see whether you are going towards God or whether you are moving away from Him. It was an amazing, life-changing, transformational experience. It was simply amazing because, you know, I learned so much from it, and you know, it did touch my life. In addition.
My name is Susan Griffith, and I am a retired radiologist, and I live in Alabama. And that was surprisingly helpful. When I understood what consolation and desolation was and how those things work, I could see that happening in my life from day to day, and that was helpful. So right away, there was interesting things for this Protestant lady. I had never had much exposure to Catholic concepts. So this was like something of a new world. So I would ponder the verses, and what do you know? Sometimes insights would just happen.
The best part of the retreat was, well, the pace, and I liked it. The retreat I did was with a group of people, which was turned out I liked that a lot. It was a beginning for me to look inwards, what was happening. Very, very, very powerful. I was able to visit the most darkest place in my existence so far, and find out that God, that Spirit, was there as well. And when I found that out, it was an instantaneous kind of burst of huge light. I suggest anyone that wants to experience a decompressed life to take a retreat and decompress a bit.
There are lots of opportunities to make a retreat at the FCJ Center and to grow at your own pace in an environment specifically designed to meet your spiritual and personal needs. A special thank you to all who spoke about their retreat experiences.
Another faith-inspired growth experience is that of spiritual direction. In a confidential and trusting setting, you will have a chance to talk about your search to know and do whatever God is asking of you and your life. Let's hear some more details from Denise Deneve.
Spiritual direction is an age-old practice in which individuals seek out a trusted spiritual guide to accompany them on their journey through life. Soul friend or spiritual companion are alternate names for a spiritual guide. When all is said and done, we recognize that the Holy Spirit of God is the spiritual director of our lives. Individuals from all walks of life, of all ages, and of many Christian traditions seek spiritual direction. There might be many reasons why people seek spiritual direction, but in the long run, the common factor would be a strong desire to know what God is asking and try to recognize signs of God's presence in the ordinary happening of daily life. People frequently ask, how does spiritual direction work? How often people visit the spiritual director varies with individuals and can be tailored to their needs. A common practice would be to visit a spiritual director once a month. During a session, the director will spend most of the time listening carefully and attentively to your story, experience of your prayer, and your struggles. In a confidential and trusting setting, you will have a chance to talk about your search to know and to do whatever God is asking of you and your life. How does a person get started with spiritual direction at the center? We have a team of 25 trained, experienced spiritual directors on site. Let us match you with a spiritual director that can meet your spiritual needs. You can book a one-time session or have regular monthly appointments. There is no fixed charge for spiritual direction. The director matched with you will negotiate the fee with you. We suggest the minimum tax-deductible donation be the equivalent of at least 1 hour's wages for each hour of direction. To connect with a spiritual director, please contact the center. I would like to show you a clip of a more personal explanation of spiritual direction now.
As part of Campion Outreach, Sister Margaret Claver travels to the northeast of Victoria around Benalla to meet with people for ongoing spiritual direction.
My name's Margaret Claver, FCJ, and I'm part of the Campion Centre of Ignatian Spirituality, with part of my ministry in what we call Campion Outreach.
Well, I'm Sister Joan Cartledge, a faithful companion of Jesus, and my particular ministry is as a spiritual director, and I'm also a trained supervisor, and I just love my job.
The role of the spiritual director, as I said, is to facilitate this encounter between God and the person. And it might surprise you, but my job as a spiritual director is mostly to listen, not to talk.
Spiritual direction really is enabling another person to really find themselves and go deeper with the relationship with God in their own lives.
So the important thing is to be able to listen to what the person is saying about their prayer experience, or if they're making a retreat and you've given them a particular exercise to pray with, or what's going on in their life, what's important to them.
And I'm just there sort of like a voice, if you like, while they can hear what's happening within them. I don't teach them, I don't lecture them, I don't give them answers.
But it's just wonderful to just be there and witness how, when you've got someone who's really sincere and who's trying to get to know who they are and who God is, to just see how it can transform their lives over a period of time.
Many people have the experience of a friend or family member coming up to them and asking questions about God, prayer, discernment, the purpose of life, why bad things happen to good people, and such other topics. Has that happened to you?
Do you enjoy listening to people's stories of how they came to faith and how they're finding God in their lives today? If so, you may be interested in training as a spiritual director and learning the knowledge, skills, and dispositions that will prepare you to accompany others as they grow in their faith lives. The FCJ Center has a 2-year formation program for people who are exploring a call to this ministry of spiritual direction within Christian traditions. Listen to this Zoom discussion of what the current participants value about the training they are getting.
Why did you want training as a spiritual director?
Sister Madeline, it's Kathy. I will start. So why I wanted training with spiritual direction, one of the things we learned along the way was around spiritual conversations and the difference between conversations and direction. And having lots of people in my life that you have conversations with, very, very valuable to have the training to know when it's a direction. If someone is looking for direction to build their relationship with God, and when it's a mutual conversation.
My name is Maritza. I didn't want to join the spiritual direction training program because I think it's really important to have a sacred space to share in a very spiritual way. And I would like to keep connected, especially with young adults, because I realize that it's really important to keep contact and keep us in track with our spirituality, with development and growing.
What has been most beneficial for you personally in attending the spiritual direction training program? Benefit to you personally?
I'll answer that. My name's Maggie. Actually, there are a number of things that I would say I've benefited personally from the spiritual direction training program. One is to have been exposed to a lot of readings and discussion about what spiritual direction is, and also being exposed to a really well thought out group, people with diverse backgrounds and really informed discussion about what it is. That's what I've benefited.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, and for me, my name is Gay Juan Summers. I've learned more, discovered more about myself, and being aware, really, of my feelings and towards my directee as I go through the program. As also as since joining the program, I've developed my listening skills. And tuned down. So that has really helped me in the spiritual direction program. And I really enjoyed coming through the program, learning more insights as we develop our own selves as well.
Has this been a high quality program? Is the training preparing you to step into the role of a spiritual director?
I can comment on that, Maggie. I think it's an extremely high quality program. We've had a challenging year with the COVID-19, and in all circumstances, the administration has, met that challenge, and we've also been given the opportunity to work with volunteers to practice our skills and hone our skills, as well as within our own cohort we've been able to practice. And I think it's been an absolutely outstanding experience.
Great. I'm glad.
I would echo that, Kathy, that I made a note here that the blend of the theory and the practical and the experiential learning and the sharing and just the very safe place for all of us to get feedback from each other, that we can then share the gift of this ministry with others, really speaks to the quality of the program.
Were there any particular structures in the program that you thought were really beneficial to you?
I could speak for that. I think each class or each course from the beginning day one or through the program was really well thought of with capable mentors and supervision that we've had. Like everything was structured to the T almost, and it was just well done. I think on how the spiritual training program has evolved over the years, and just the experience of the amount of training that we've had as spiritual directors have been really amazing.
That the first year prepares us to be open for spiritual direction, and the trainings and all the person who is professional on this is helping us a lot. And now in the second year, when we are doing our practice with volunteers, it is really important to have a peer supervision and also supervisors within this program. I think it's very, very good.
I would like to expand on the listening comment I think that Gay made, and the benefits to personally, and not only personally, but to everyone around you, like the gift of being that listener. And this has come up in several of our classes as we've shared some of our sessions, and the gift that we receive of being listened to, but now this gift that we're giving to other people as we listen to them with the ears of God and listening explicitly, inviting the Holy Spirit into this space. And just, again, as Maggie mentioned, in these tough COVID times, that like everything's so different. And again, what a gift we can offer to people.
Sensational. It sounds like the participants are enthusiastic about what they are learning. Thank you to the spiritual director trainees for sharing their thoughts. As we move into the last part of our afternoon, I would like to remind you that our pledge volunteers are standing by to take your donations. Call in, talk to them. We don't want them to be lonely.
Remember that for every pledge of $20 that you make, you will receive one ticket for the FCJ Christian Life Play As You Pay. Every ticket gives you a chance to win one of the wonderful prizes that have been donated to the FCJ Center for this event.
We are very grateful for all the help that you can give the center. Help us to reach our $25,000 target so that we can continue to support our clients with the programs that we offer. Now I think it's time to go back to Sister Madeline's classroom. She has a final question for you.
The FCJ Center offers many kinds of retreats. Retreats offer opportunities for A, inner spiritual growth, B, to share experiences with new people, C, to integrate faith and life, D, all of the above. If you know the answer, be the first caller to contact my assistant. She will be taking your name and contact information so that we can deliver your prize right to your home. Call now.
Call now. Sister Madeline's assistant is waiting to hear from you.
Counseling at the FCJ Christian Life Center is a special aspect of our oasis of hospitality and hope. In this warm, supportive atmosphere, the experience of pain, challenges, anxiety, and depression that life can provide may be addressed in a safe, confidential location. The counselors want to walk with you and work with you to help you gain a deeper understanding of your present reality and the tools and skills that will ultimately help you find new perspectives and hope in your future. We have two counselors at the center, Reverend Bob Glasgow and Sister Jer Curran.
Bob is an ordained minister and a pastoral counselor. Reverend Glasgow is the former coordinator of counseling at the Pastoral Institute of Calgary and founder of the Rocky View Hospital Grief Support Program. He served as a chaplain at the Rocky View General Hospital from 1985 to 2006. Bob is currently doing consulting work for Stars Air Ambulance and Wellspring Calgary, as well as working at the FCJ Center when COVID allows him to be here.
Sister Jer Curran is a sister of the Congregation Faithful Companions of Jesus, FCJ. She joined the FCJ Center resource team in the fall of 2015. Jer has worked as a counselor for the past 30 years in various settings. Before qualifying as an accredited counselor, Jer completed a master's degree in family counseling from the University of Iona, New York. Since coming to Canada, Jer has worked at the FCJ Center as a counselor while also representing the center in interfaith matters and helping refugee families.
Tell me about counseling at the FCJ Center.
A full-time counsellor was hired at the FCJ Centre in 2015, and ever since there has been one available 5 days a week for anybody who would like to come. We also, in addition to that, Reverend Bob Glasgow is one of our counsellors, and he comes here and he does bereavement at different times, and people make their own arrangements with Bob when that happens.
How do I make an appointment?
We have a unique system here. Okay, so to make an appointment, you contact reception. They contact me. They put you on the phone to me, and I ask you, do you agree to come for one single appointment that I call come and see? So we arrange the time there and then that you come. If perchance I'm not in my office, the message goes to my answer machine. You leave a message, nobody else has access to my answer machine. I pick up the message, I call you back, and we arrange a suitable time. When you come and see then, you haven't made 100% commitment to come to counselling yet, because I believe as a counsellor that the relationship is extremely important. So I would like the person coming to know that the fit is correct, you know, that they'll be easy speaking about themselves. So when they come, I talk a little bit to give people a chance to get used to my accent. I tell them a little bit about the counseling process, and I ask the question, what brings you here today? At that stage, usually the person tells me a little bit, but not too much, because I want to make sure that they have time at home. If they don't want to come back, that they haven't opened too many things that will cause them anxiety when they leave the office.
Who goes to the FCJ for counseling?
A wide variety of people come, thanks be to God, because it makes my job really interesting. So we have single people, we have married people, we have male and female, we have people of many faith denominations, and sometimes we have people of none. So all are welcome to the FCJ for counseling.
What is involved in counseling?
I'm delighted you asked that question, because counseling is a process, and most people don't understand that. Sometimes they think, well, if I go to see a counselor, I explain my situation, it will be fixed, and that's it, okay? But it is a process. So the person comes, normally there's a 50-minute session with a counselor. We go through whatever needs to be gone through. The person works outside the session, so they think about what has happened. Sometimes they might even journal or whatever. They bring back to the next session. The goal of counseling would for the person to become more aware of what's going on in themselves, and obviously that there would be change of some kind, and that the person, through the medium of the interviews, would select a change that would bring wholeness into their lives.
How much does it cost?
Counselling is arranged on a sliding scale here at FCJ. A normal or a standard set fee is $80 for those who can afford $80. There are many people who cannot, so that will never stop coming to FCJ for counselling. So normally when a person comes, I discuss with them what's a reasonable fee. I ask them to suggest, given what they're earning at a given time or not earning at a given time, what can they afford to give that wouldn't let them without in their lives, and that is how the fee is set.
How long does counseling take?
Counseling takes as long as it takes for change to growth, to happen in the person. It doesn't happen in 1 or 2 sessions. Some people can be coming for a few months. Now, I don't mean every week for a few months, but at the beginning I see people frequently, and then we spread out the time. It becomes 2 weeks, then 3 weeks, then 4 weeks, okay? Some people can be coming for a year or more. Some people come and say, well, I'm fine now, and they might come back a year later and say, look, at the second half of this I would like to raise and speak about now and address this in my life. So as much as the person needs is as long as the process takes.
Thank you.
And thank you, Michelle, for interviewing me, and I was delighted to have this opportunity of explaining about counselling at the FCJ Centre.
If you would like a brief conversation with the counselor before making an appointment, please contact the FCJ Centre at 403-228-4215.
Counseling support is an integral part of our health, wellness, and respite services. Let's hear what Sister Jer has to say about how the FCJ Centre supports these initiatives as we rejoin Michelle Slade and Sister Curran in their interview.
Why are there health and wellness and support services at the FCJ Centre?
Life can be really difficult for people right now, especially with COVID on. The FCJ Centre comes from this perspective of respecting the uniqueness of each person. So we try to provide a variety of process that will help wholeness and healing for the person.
How would you define health and wellness? What are some of the health and wellness and support services at the FCJ Centre?
Health and wellness are not only a physical feature, but incorporate mental and spiritual perspectives as well. Our programs assist you to find a balance between mind, body, and spirit. This combination helps us understand the harmonious and wholesome ways in which our bodies work. We try to address the balance by offering meditation, prayer, yoga, and counseling. Meditation is a very special method of praying. Prayer is bringing your mind, soul, and spirit to God and becoming aware of God's presence. In a regular prayer, you use words to articulate your thoughts, maybe aloud or silently. But when you meditate, instead of using your voice, you use your imagination, thoughts inside your mind. Patricia Harrison, a member of our resource team, offers several sessions of meditative practice. Yoga is also used in the center. I believe that yoga is a gift from God. Your yoga practice centered on Christ can be your worship in action, your faith, and prayers in motion. Use of ritual is a time-honored method for preparing to contemplate. Sometimes it is successful in developing the silence required to listen deeply. Lonnie de Sourcy, a yoga teacher who is on the Center Resource team, a long-time meditator in several traditions, during her sessions, offers to share with the person this combination of targeting breathwork, hand gestures, imagery, and sound that she uses when the silence does not come easily. iRest is one of the forms of meditation offered by Lonnie. People have said about this method, what I liked most was the feeling of peace and calm by being in motion with my breathing. A wonderful experience. Students of authentic yoga do well to remember that this is what the yoga tradition is really about. Practice and tools to empower us to see and live from our original wholeness and true nature. Another process that is used is mind-body meditative movements. Spring Forest Qigong is offered by Diane Gouldade. It is a simple yet effective practice that can be done by any age and in any capacity. Especially useful for people with dementia. Spring Forest Qigong is a practice based upon the mind-body meditative movement. These movements involve simple, slow repetition along with mindful breathing, visualization, and meditation. These movements are a beautiful way to connect with your inner guidance in a heart-centered community. I participated in a group that was led by Diane. It was for families and persons affected by Alzheimer's. The exercises were very manageable and everyone felt so renewed afterwards. We have been blessed during COVID that Diane could continue with Qigong during the COVID period online. The final feature of wellness and wholeness that we have at the center is a compassionate stay that's used occasionally by people. There are times in our lives when we are faced with the unexpected illness of a loved one. The quiet and caring atmosphere of the FCJ Center offers you an oasis away from home if you need to stay in Calgary for a day or two. Affordable rates apply pending availability.
Thank you to Michelle Slade for this informative interview of Sister Jer Curran.
Let's take a few moments to hear thoughts from people and families who have participated in FCJ Christian Life Center programs.
Good afternoon. Today we are going to have a short chat with Rami Kayata. And he and his family came from Syria several years ago. And they were active participants in the programming and the supports that the FCJ Center was able to offer them.
Good afternoon. Actually, the center has supported us in many ways. They supported us financially, emotionally, and even in an educational way. After leaving my country, I was so worried about how I'm going to start again. I had a lot of concerns about the future, a lot of questions about Canada itself. But from the first day, my family and I arrived in Calgary. The center and the sisters were with us from the beginning. They made us actually feel safe again. I mean, people like me, when you escape from war, in one way or another, you feel like you are losing your beliefs, losing hope. But when you find yourself surrounded by nice people who really want to help you, who care about you, make you believe again that whatever happened, God will never abandon you. I will always be grateful and thankful of all the things that they did, that the center did, and they're still doing for me and for my family.
It is good to hear how the work at the FCJ Center has impacted our families. Thank you for taking the time to share your thoughts.
Hi, I'm Hannibal Tudis, and I am here to remind you that our phone lines are open up until 5 p.m. for you to submit your donations to us. Your donations will help us to continue to create these amazing programs that bring our communities together and will help us bring more people to our programs and can create more recognition to our programs and community. Thank you for your donations.
The FCJ Center has a very active Faith in Action committee. This committee endeavors to widen the circle, especially where struggles may be experienced by people. We hope the following PowerPoint will give you all a flavor of some of the activities of this committee. Their goal is to reach out in collaboration, mutuality, and dialogue to build peaceful and harmonious relationships that will enrich users of the center as well as people in the community.
The Faith in Action Committee was established as an FCJ Center Board of Consultants priority. Its mandate is to reach out in collaboration, mutuality, and dialogue to build peaceful and harmonious relationships with people in the community, offering a variety of projects and programs hosted by the Center. Unlike other programs offered at the Center, all the Faith in Action events depend on donations either from outside sponsors or from the Center itself. In this slide, we see Natasha and Sister Jer in City Hall at the launch of the United Nations World Interfaith Harmony Week held in 2017. The goals of the Faith in Action Committee are to be in transformative relationship with everyone and everything, to grow in understanding and respect for other cultures and beliefs, and to collaborate where possible in addressing common societal problems, and to make the FCJ Center known as an oasis to people of many faiths. All the Faith in Action Committee sponsored events or projects try to address all the goals simultaneously.
In 2018, the committee hosted several wonderful events. The first was a January weekend retreat offered for unemployed people. As the brochure for the retreat stated, it was not a job-finding, but a heart-helping retreat of conversation, reflection, laughter, connectedness, and hope. The participants were so grateful for the opportunity, for the time and guidance provided. The Gift of Hope for Unemployed People continues as an annual event. Aboriginal awareness is close to the heart of the Faith in Action. In the past few years, we have included Aboriginal prayer at some of our major events. We consulted with Cheryl Sheehan Grey Eyes when we were revamping the foyer of the centre. We highlighted our land acknowledgement by illustrating it permanently onto one of our walls. The drama presentation New Blood, written and directed by Deanne Birch, was a part of an Aboriginal Awareness Day held at the centre and presented to some of the students from our local area schools.
Over the past few years, the Centre has hosted barbecues offered for Turkish, Muslim, and Amalekite Catholic Syrians, all newcomers to Canada. Formerly refugees, many people have arrived in Calgary. The newcomers needed moral and material support as they began learning English, managing life in a new and very different culture, finding employment, and confronting the multiplicity of challenges that face them each day. The newcomers are so grateful for the support of people in Calgary. One of the hardest challenges for newcomers is to integrate with the broader Canadian society, with its acceptance of religious pluralism. The barbecues are the Centre's effort to help newcomers grow in their ability to relate to, converse with, and enjoy the company of people from cultures that in their former lives were considered suspect. The barbecue event seen on this slide was held in 2018. It was the second annual Turkish-Syrian gathering. and it was wonderful to see the growth from the previous year in each community's willingness to engage with others. Both Turkish and Syrian committee members exchanged ideas very easily. The barbecues featured face painting, music, and dancing from each culture, halal meats, and a visit from the mascot of the Calgary Flames, Harvey the Hound. It was a marvelous party.
Yazidi refugees are the most vulnerable group who have come to Canada. We have worked with Yazidi volunteers to help the refugees settle in Canada, drawing from our experience in working with the Syrian refugees. We were delighted to host an event which we called Egg Extravaganza. This was to mark the Yazidi New Year. While most of the mothers did not have any English, their joy in watching the children's games was heartening. One way of addressing, where possible, some of our common societal problems is by establishing a community garden to tackle in a small way food security and community response. Some of our community boxes provide food for the Feed the Hungry program at St. Mary's Cathedral. Also, we try to provide space and participation in hosting conversation cafes for families struggling with dementia. Meditation and movement have been offered by Diane Gouldade during these sessions. We were happy that this could continue during COVID. Another project was a ministry to support Alpha House, a centre that reaches out to homeless people caught in addiction. It is located only a few blocks from the FCJ centre, so they are our neighbours. This project has been going for many years, but in 2018 to this day, it came under the purview of Faith in Action. It is called Street Feet, and the tagline was, "Stuff a sock, warm a heart." From about mid-November, the centre advertises the need to create care packages for the homeless in the form of a thick winter stocking stuffed with useful items such as toiletries, a hat or scarf and gloves, small packs of tissues and a treat. When the socks were delivered just before Christmas, Alpha House was very grateful for the support.
Another project the Faith in Action Committee has overseen is the annual Syrian Children's Christmas Party, featuring more face painting, carols, and Christmas songs in English and Arabic, 2 Arabic-speaking Santa Clauses, and of course, delicious food provided by the centre's talented catering staff. 4 local Catholic schools ensured that each child received a very nice Christmas gift. The schools were St. Mary's High School, St. Monica's, Mother Mary Green, and Our Lady of Lourdes. This event, too, had an active committee of volunteers who worked hard to plan, set up, and clean up after the event. Lovely Christmas cards were created for each Syrian family by Kathleen Kolowaskis, who is a friend of the FCJ Centre. It was another well-received, rollicking party for sure. In 2019, the Christmas party was morphed into the Advent Festival. The Advent Festival helps all to get ready for Christmas in a way that keeps God's love front and center in our celebrations. Participants are introduced to those involved throughout history in carrying out the message of Jesus' coming to be among us. During the Advent Festival, participants engage in family-friendly activities that highlight Advent characters like Isaiah, John the Baptist, Joseph, and Mary, who teach us how very special it is that God is with us.
In the last 5 years, we have been very intentional in building our interfaith relationships. The FCJ Centre is a member of the Calgary Interfaith Council and the Calgary Council of Christian and Jews. We were delighted to participate each year at the beginning of February in the United Nations Interfaith and Harmony Week. Our slide shows the many events and faith traditions that have been part of our life at the Centre. Faith in Action adds greatly to the Centre's offerings through the year and allows our FCJ charism of companionship and hospitality to shine in Calgary.
I think we can all agree that there is some fine work being done by this committee. They're making a huge difference, and they would love to be able to find continued support.
It is my pleasure to introduce the Bishop O'Byrne Senior Choir, who under the direction of their choir master, Mr. Terry Edwards, will be sharing Pachelbel's Canon de Peace, Dona Nobis Pacem. A well-named piece of music. I hope it brought you peace and a moment to reflect on our ministry here at the Center. A special thank you to Andreas Burko, the Fine Arts Consultant at the Calgary Catholic School District, and the students and teachers of Bishop O'Byrne for sharing this inspirational song of peace.
Come and see. On this day of World Communication, the FCJ Christian Life Center invites you to come and see. But more than that, we are asking you to move beyond the role of spectator and to get involved in the work, needs, and passions that are part of our day-to-day reality here at the Center. In this short video that you're about to see, we will see footage of volunteers at work at the center. It presents us with opportunities, examples, and ways which volunteers have become involved in the past. This is a wonderful collage of many ways that people have made a difference in the events and causes here at the FCJ Center. We consider ourselves blessed to have long-term supporters and friends of the center, and have turned to them to share briefly about how and why they've become involved. We will hear in the voices of our volunteers and our donors their motivation to do so. Our first interview is with Wade Pittman and Dan Losey, our maintenance manager and his volunteer.
A lot of property to take care of, so for having Dan arrive and help me, it spread, like the workload was spread out a lot better and gave me more time to really detail the place, because if I was getting the place at 67% of what I really wanted, at least 97, I was, with Dan's help, we were getting it at like a 92%.
I was semi-retired. I've since been working almost back to full time, but I'd taken one day a week to spend with Wade here at the center, and it was mainly for me to be able to keep active, to keep my mind sharp, to learn new skills, and to just not to be lazy in the sense of always trying to do something and to give back. The other thing was, for me, it was more a gift that I had been given. God gave me a gift to of being able to work with my hands, and I wanted to do that.
Originally, when he came on as a volunteer, I got his phone number, entered it in my phone, and I wrote Blonde Dad.
The main thing for me was just a relationship that we developed. He calls me Dad, and so it's like a father-son relationship that we've developed, and it's been really good. I have needed that in my life.
Since the volunteering has happened all this time, my whole life I have prayed for a male best friend, and I finally have one.
So I'd like to introduce to you Nancy, our neighbor, and she will explain briefly what her motivation is for being involved.
I sort of got involved with cleaning up over here, as it kind of just grew out of some other things that I was doing. Finally, one day it occurred to me, why don't I just cross the street and go along the convent property and do that as well, right? So I just do outside the fence, where a lot of trash accumulates in the hedge and the fence line there. I do the boulevard, and I also do the gutter, and I also do the street. And really my main goal in all this stuff is that it's my neighborhood. I walk by here all the time. I walk along the river frequently, and I like it to look neat and clean. But it's also to keep trash out of the river. So definitely, it's not like anybody gave me permission or I signed on to an official program or something like that. I just do it because it's my neighborhood and it's an area where I spend time walking and I like it to look nice.
And finally, I would like to introduce Jerry Halford. He's a long-term supporter, both corporate and private, of the events and the things that happen here at the FCJ Center.
My relationship with the FCJ Sisters and the Christian Life Center has been a long-term and spanned my whole life. I've known the FCJs from a very young age, as my dear aunt, Sister Frances, was a member of the FCJs for over 70 years. My family would sometimes visit my aunt at the convent, at Sacred Heart Convent, on Sunday afternoons. It must have been quite an event when my mom and dad would show up with a large brood of kids in tow. I remember that the boys always wore their white shirts and had very strict orders to be on their very best behavior. As the years passed from my childhood to today, I have seen and understand the work of the FCJ Center. It was impressive to see the number and variety of people that the center served. All ages, all ethnicities, all faiths, all are welcome. I decided that I wanted to help the sisters in the center in whatever way I could. I thought, the center does such wonderful work and asks for so little in return. I encourage people to visit the center, to sign up for a retreat or class, and to offer their support financially and through their prayers.
How can you get involved? Our website has a section that's dedicated to how individuals and groups can become involved. Let's take a short tour. Charles D. Gill puts things so clearly as he points out the importance of service. There are many wonderful things that will never get done if you don't do them, he tells us. Whether you choose the path of donor or volunteer or both, we call upon all of you to live a life of significance by becoming involved. There are many people in our community who need your gifts, your leadership, and purpose. Together, we can do a little bit of good in an overwhelming world.
It is hard to believe that the afternoon has passed so quickly. We hope that this virtual celebration and showcase has given all of you an opportunity to come and see what the FCJ Christian Life Center is all about.
As the pandemic nears to an end, let us remain mindful of the need for good in our world. Good people, like you, can bring hope and understanding to so many. We believe we are an organization that responds to many needs, physical, intellectual, mental, but most importantly, spiritual needs. Our programs, whether they are outreach, retreat, counseling, and wellness programs, bring human needs together with those who have talents, gifts, and the spirit to share with their community.
Before we close this afternoon, we would like to remind you that we will be taking pledges here at the FCJ Center until 5 p.m. today. If you're not able to make a pledge today, please consider donating towards our $25,000 goal for program support before May 23rd.
Widen our circle by joining our circle. In the words of Pope Francis on this World Communication Sunday, hit the streets and be more than a mere spectator. On behalf of Manny, my co-host, the staff, and Board of Consultants, we bid you farewell and thank you for joining us this afternoon.